Welcome.
All right, so we are live on Facebook. Alhamdulillah.
Right, let me see that. Hey, bro.
We've got Amira from Malaysia. It's probably super late there or super early. So that's awesome that you're hanging around, mashallah.
It's super early.
Super early, okay. So we're on Facebook. We're good to go, Sheikh. I'll wait for your cue, inshallah.
Yeah, I'm ready to go too. I'll just start, yeah.
All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Alhamdulillah, the timing of it, I'm sure, is perfect for all of us. Like I said, we're a couple days away from Ramadan. This is a great way, inshallah, to go into it together. And a topic that Sheikh Muhammad's excited about, and alhamdulillah, I know I myself am excited to hear his reflection and gems on it. So today's webinar is called, Do You Even Know Allah's Plan? And it's about trust. And this is really part of that journey of our 15th annual Visionaire launch. So if you haven't, heard the buzz, it's floating around on Facebook. Inshallah, I'm going to be putting the links in the chat as well. So this is really part of that journey and getting ready for that Visionaire experience that we're going to be having. It starts May 2nd. So excited to begin that in Ramadan, inshallah, and take your Ramadan to the next level. So I'll be sharing more information about that. Stay on, inshallah. Sheikh's probably going to do a few questions at the end of the webinar today. And then, we have a special announcement too, because we have a bonus for it. So stay on. Mashallah, there's a lot of you on here, lots of buzz, alhamdulillah. If you're new, I want to introduce you to Sheikh Muhammad. Welcome, and some of you guys might be new to Discover You and who Sheikh Muhammad is. So he's the founder and president of Al-Maghrib Institute and Discover You. His parents raised him on the motto, nothing is impossible. And alhamdulillah, that's what he's lived by. Completing the memorization of Quran from a young age, Sheikh Muhammad graduated from the Islamic University of Medina with a degree in Islamic law. And Discover You, which he's one of the founders of, is an Islam-based personal development institute. We offer online programs, like I said, Visionaire Online, and other products and lots of free content as well. Alhamdulillah, Sheikh Muhammad always leverages cutting edge technology to deliver quality services, and he's always ahead of the game, alhamdulillah. So you're in good hands. So welcome, and let's kick this off. Do you even know Allah's plan? I'll hand it over to you, Sheikh.
Let me just open this up. Take one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala, amma ba'd. I want to begin by the story of Abraha. Abraha, he built a place of worship in Yemen, and then he called the people to do Hajj for his location, and nobody came to his place of worship. So Abraha said, why is it that nobody's coming? And he was told that there is a bait, there is a home that people do worship to in Mecca. And he saw that as competition. He saw it as competition. So Abraha sent, went with the elephant. As you know, he came to Mecca and he wanted to destroy the Kaaba. And he had Abdul Muttalib, who was the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, came to Abraha, and when Abraha met him, Abraha says, as you see in the Sirah books, he was so awe-inspired by Abdul Muttalib that he stood up for him, he welcomed him into his tent, he sat him beside him, and then he said, ask what you wish to ask me. And so Abdul Muttalib said to Abraha, I need you to give us the camels, and you can have the Kaaba. It's between you and you can have the Kaaba. So Abraha was extremely disappointed in Abdul Muttalib. He said, look, I saw you, I honored you, I saw a great man in front of me, and had you asked that I leave the Kaaba, he would have considered it. And then so Abdul Muttalib said in response that, listen, I am the Lord, I am in charge of these camels that you took, like he took the wealth of the people of Mecca. He goes, that's my responsibility. I'm the owner of that. I'm the Lord of that. He said, but as for the Kaaba, it has its Lord and he will defend it. And then as they say, فَتَعَجَّبَ أَبْرَهَا. And they made the deal that Abdul Muttalib said, give us the camels, we will leave. They all went out to the mountains of Mecca to see what was going to happen. And it was between Abraha and the Kaaba. And he went up against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the rest is history. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Did you not see what Allah did? Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Did you not see what your Lord did to the people of the elephant? So I wanted to start that off by this topic of what does it mean to have tawakkul? What does it mean to place one's trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So where I got this from is that obviously we've been teaching Visionaire Ramadan for many years. I've been doing Visionaire for myself last 15 years. I've been teaching it consistently for the last 7 years. Alhamdulillah, this coming Ramadan, we will also be doing Visionaire. So I come across hundreds, thousands of questions. And one of the things that kind of irks me and makes me pay attention is when somebody's things are not working out for them, and then they say, I guess I'm going to trust in Allah's plan. And so I would think that when I see people say that, I'm like, do you even know Allah's plan that you're going to trust it? And usually it comes with a person not taking any action or basically throwing their hands up in surrender and just saying, you know what, this is God's plan. I guess I was never meant to get married. This is God's plan. I guess I was never meant to have a child. This is God's plan. I guess I was never meant to, you know, get citizenship to this country or get accepted at this university or something like that, right? And they throw their hands up in the air. It's usually a throw the hands up in the air. I guess I'm going to follow Allah's plan. And my response has often been, do you even know Allah's plan? And some of you guys on the Facebook Live with me, these Muhammad Al Sharif daily huddles, you know that I've been talking about not claiming to know Allah's intentions and so on. So that's the foundation of this topic for today. It's, do you even know Allah's plan? And what does it even mean when somebody says, I trust Allah's plan? So this is unfortunately the way that I think people kind of interpret that. I trust Allah's plan. I feel that it's as if they're saying that Allah is requiring me to do nothing. And so I will just submit and do nothing and take no actions and see what Allah will do. To me, that's what I hear when somebody says, I guess I'm just going to trust in Allah's plan. And so that's what I want to say. Is that reaction of sitting back and doing nothing, is that really what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you? Is that what tawakkul is, placing one's trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? All right, so let's get down to what the root of that word tawakkul. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the believers should place their trust in. So Wakil is in Arabic. If you're just to say it, you know, straight up, what's the Arabic? What does it mean to be a wakil? Wakil is a power of attorney. So you might, for example, let's suppose you were in the shipping industry and you were sending your, a merchant ship with some goods. You were sending it to another country. Let's suppose you sent it to Africa, and then you arrived on the shores of Africa, in Ethiopia or something like that, or Somalia, and then they said, who are you? And you might say, I'm the wakil of, you know, the tea company of China. I'm the wakil, meaning that I have the authority to act on behalf of this person. So it's like a power of attorney. So somebody who has the power to act on your behalf and get the work done for you. So understanding, so when somebody says, I've mutawakkil, I've placed my trust in Allah, I've handed off my power of attorney, if you will, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've placed my trust in Allah, meaning that I have given Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I've surrendered my power, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of my affairs. Now, here's the problem if you misunderstand tawakkul. If you misunderstand tawakkul, what you might conclude, what you might conclude, what might happen is that you will spend many years of your life taking no action, and not getting a result. No action equals no result. Thinking that, hey, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, you know what, he's gonna do it. He's gonna send me XYZ by Amazon courier, and he's just gonna take care of it. So the result of misunderstanding what tawakkul is, you could be spending many years of your life and not coming to a conclusion or not coming to a result because you might have misunderstood it. Or somebody on the opposite side, and I'm going to share with you an amazing story that's going to make the difference between these two, and you're going to love it. You will love it, inshallah. If somebody does take action on something, but they haven't placed their trust in Allah. So if somebody said, for example, you know what, it's just my effort. It's just, if I place my trust, and here are some things that people place their trust in. Things like a degree. So somebody might say, oh, because I have a PhD, because I'm a doctor, I will be successful in life. And so they've placed their trust in an education. And we know how many educated people lose their jobs and life changes and they're humiliated from some other reason, or they lose their family life because of the whatever, right? Some people place their trust in financial loans. So somebody might say that if I have this money, maybe it's even haram, the way that they're getting the money, but they think that if they have the financial loan, even if it involves riba, that somehow they'll be safe and they'll be protected. And anyways, you get the idea. I won't go into more on that. A third thing that some people might place their trust in is business connections or family connections. So somebody may say that, I know such and such, I know a prince, I know this big boss man or big boss lady, and because I know them, my connection with them will guarantee that I will get special privileges based on that. As in Arabic, you call it wasita. Like I have a middleman, I have a middle person to get through the situation. So these are type of things that people place their trust in, and if you get it wrong, if you misunderstand what tawakkul is and you place your trust in something other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you don't place, you will find that things don't turn out so good. So let me give you an example that makes all of this make sense. So I don't want you to think that tawakkul is only, so a very kind of like, I don't want to use the word crude, but it doesn't have the nuances. The crude thing to say would be tawakkul is when tawakkul is something that you do with your tongue and your heart. And other than that, if you can take action, then you take action, and no tawakkul is involved. If you have to take action and there's logistics and you know what, I need to train and I need to do this, I need to get a degree, that's not tawakkul. Tawakkul is only in your tongue. That's not true. Tawakkul is in everything. Tawakkul is, yes, whether you take action or you don't take action, they all need tawakkul. So let me give you this beautiful example. Just, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And you'll understand this, inshallah ta'ala. So, tawakkul ala Allah, placing trust in Allah in the story of Nuh alayhi salam. That's like a mic drop. The story of Nuh. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, لَن يُؤْمِنَ مِنْ قَوْمِكَ إِلَّا مَنْ قَدْ آمَنَ, that nobody else is going to become believers from your people. And so Allah commanded him to build a boat and have all these animals on the boat, male and female from all these animals, and put them on a boat. And he built it in a desert. And people would walk by and mock him. And so when we say place your trust in Allah, so if Allah is going to destroy the people of Nuh, why is he building a boat? Like surely Allah can save Nuh with a miracle, but he still had lots of work to do. There's still lots of work. So this is the game plan. We're going to build a boat. God commanded me to build this boat. His family's involved. We're going to get a male and female from all these animals. And the rains are going to come one day and everybody else is going to drown. But right now, you got to trust me. You got to place your trust in Allah. Okay? So as you know, Nuh alayhi salam was saved. But the determining factor that, like I said, this will explain to you about tawakkul, what it means, is that Nuh's son was also called to get on the boat, but he adopted another strategy, another logistical strategy, another tying of the camel, if you will. But his tying of the Nuh's son's idea of tying of the camel did not include placing trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَنَادَى نُوحٌ ابْنَهُ وَكَانَ فِي مَعْزِلٍ يَا بُنَيَّ ارْكَبْ مَعَنَا يا بني اركب معنا ولا تكن مع الكافرين قال سآوي إلى جبل يعصمني من الماء قال لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله إلا من رحم وحال بينهما الموج فكان من المغرقين. So in the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the conversation between Nuh alayhi salam and his son. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Nuh told him, get on the bus, don't be one of the people who are drowned. And so he's telling him, place your trust in Allah, get on the bus. So logistics. But Nuh's son responded with logistics as well. He also said, hey, I'm going to tie my camel, I'm going to climb this mountain. But the difference between Nuh's tying of the camel and his son's tying of the camel, and I'm actually pretty sure that the people of Nuh also, when the rains came, they must have tried to save themselves. They also probably tried to put in action, but they didn't place their trust in Allah. They didn't have tawakkul. They didn't place their trust in Allah. So even when we are taking action, so we have to take action, we have to take action. Nuh alayhi salam, even if it's to build a boat in the middle of a desert, we have to take action and place our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They go together. There was, let me give you an example. There was, in Arab countries, this idea of wasita, may Allah protect us, is very widespread. So wasita means like a middle person, middleman, somebody can get you through the door. And it's, and Arabs will say something like vitamin W, vitamin wasita. And sometimes it's fine, but other times it could be like, anyways, I won't get into it. So there was Sheikh al-Shamkhiti, hafidhullah, he's a scholar in Medina, and he was telling us, or sorry, this was a lecture that I heard from him. He was telling us about a cousin of his, that, and this sheikh is a well-known sheikh. So a cousin of his, they're from Mauritania, their family's from Mauritania. A cousin of his lost his job, and he went to the sheikh, his cousin, and told him, do you have a hookup for me? Do you have somebody who can get me a job? And then the sheikh told him, come over, I have the best person hookup for you. So his cousin got really excited, came over, and then when he said, who's the hookup? Who's the hookup? And then the sheikh told him, Allah. So the cousin was so disappointed. The cousin was like, you made me come here, and you told me this, and like, come on, man, stop playing. I need a job right now. Allah, you're telling me that Allah is my hookup. And then so the sheikh told him in response, ittaqillah, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can you talk like that? He said, if I had told you, any human being, you would have got so excited. But when I said Allah is your hookup, you turn and frown. So they kind of got into an argument. They're like, the cousin was disappointed and he left. So cousin was driving around Medina, and he was feeling bad, and then he said, you know what, it's horrible how I responded. You know what, he's right. If it was any human being, I would have been happy, but if my wasita and my hookup is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I'm sad. Then so this is what that cousin did. He said, you know what, I stopped myself, and I said, I have placed my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I accept Allah as my hookup. And long story short, so this he all of a sudden he was passing this department, like government department in the city, and he said, you know what, let me just go in and check, maybe there's some job offering, while he was still driving after he made that intention. And he went into this building. Somebody saw him who knew him, got so excited. And he said, and then that guy said, we've been waiting for you. We have a job. I've been telling you I wanted to hire you for this job. This cousin came back to the sheikh and said, the same day after I had placed my trust in Allah, I got a better job than I've ever had in my life. I got a better salary than I've ever had in my life. And it's all because the intention of tawakkul and placing my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though he took the action, but the intention, placing your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is what took it to the next level. So the benefits of tawakkul are this. First step is that your heart becomes at peace. Your heart becomes at peace when you place your trust in Allah. You know, sometimes I see people that are, okay, actually, let me give you this example first of your heart at peace. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was in the cave with Abu Bakr during the Hijrah, and they were being chased, and then they had a bounty on their heads, and the mushrikeen, the people of Mecca, arrived at the cave, and if they only just looked downwards, like they're at the mouth of the cave, if they just looked down, they would see the Prophet ﷺ, they would see Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said that. He said, Ya Rasulullah, if they only look down, they'll see us. And he was so afraid. And so the Prophet ﷺ said to him, Ma dhannuka bithnain Allahu thalithuhuma. What is your opinion of how amazing it is that there's two people and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is their third? And so that's the tawakkul the Prophet ﷺ placed and is teaching us that that's what tawakkul brings. It brings this peace and contentment of heart when a person places their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I teach Visionary Ramadan and this issue of playing your trust in Allah and tying your camel, doing both, sometimes I see people get really nervous about their du'as that they want to have answered, and they're really nervous that what if it doesn't get answered? And actually the nervousness that I see others experiencing, I don't feel it. And I can't comprehend it. And the reason that I don't comprehend it is because I know that this dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already said that he answers, Ujibu da'wata da'i idha da'an, that I answer the call of the person who calls upon me when they call upon me. And so I'm not worried about how is that dua going to be answered? When is it going to be answered? None of that stuff, because Allah is Al-Alim, the all-knowing, Al-Hakim, the all-wise. So maybe something that I'm asking for, now's not the time. Maybe what I'm asking for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something better for me. And if I get what I asked for, it'll block the other good thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for me. Or maybe there's just some wisdom that I don't know, but it's in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hands. So there's a saying that I say in Visionary Ramadan, and that is, dua isn't reminding Allah of your problems. Dua is not reminding Allah of your problems. So you're standing there, oh Allah, this is my problem. Dua is not reminding Allah of your problems. Dua is reminding your problems who Allah is. Dua is reminding your problem, a problem you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so you're reminding your problem who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. That's what you want to be making dua, and that's your attitude. That did I make the best dua? So the ayah says, Allah will ujibu da'wata da'i idha da'an, that I answer the call of the one who calls upon me if they call upon me. So the focus that we do in Visionary Ramadan is, I just want to make sure that what I'm asking for is really what I care about. That what I'm asking for is from the deepest part of my heart. What I'm asking for will give me the same feelings and not from pain, but from thankfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what I want to get from my dua. And if I arrive at that point, that I have the duas that really speak from my heart, and I come to the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and we spend 2 weeks in Ramadan working on this until we get to the last 10 nights of Ramadan, then done deal. Like hand clap, it's over. It's good because now it's in Allah's hands. Wa tawakkal ala Allah. Okay, so sometimes, so I've been having this issue. We don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plans. So don't just sit down and say, I'm going to trust in Allah's plans. You don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plans. But sometimes Allah's plans for you are obvious. kind of like what I call, sometimes we do, one second, let me just get some liquid. Sometimes we'll pray istikhara. Sometimes we pray istikhara, and then the question is, well, how do I know? How do I know if this is something good for me or bad for me? And I've had these moments where I've done istikhara, and then the no is like a solid brick wall, a solid adamantium, titanium wall telling me no. So for example, let's suppose I'm at IKEA and I want to buy a table, and I pray istikhara before purchase it. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to purchase it. And I tell the guy, and then he says, hey, this table is not in stock. And if you would like then we can send you a table after 6 months. And so I'm like, okay, this is obviously clear that I don't, this is not going to benefit me. And so I block it, and then I move to something else. So sometimes the signs are very clear. I have a quick joke that I'll share with you guys. So this is more of, so there was a flood in one American city. There was a flood in one American city, and then the police were evacuating people. And then this guy was like, you know what? I'm not leaving until God sends me a sign. So the police come around and tell this person, hey, you know what? You need to evacuate. And then this guy says, no, God will save me. So they say, whatever. They leave the person, they move on. So then another group, so the water starts getting heavier. And then the people start, like the Navy or whoever is saving people, that are responders, they come by canoe, by boat. They knock on this person's door. They say, get on the boat. We're here to save you. And then the man said, no, God will save me. They're like, forget you, man, you're crazy. And they move on to the next house until the flood gets really heavy. And then this person, he goes to the top of the hill. and the hill is like flooding, and then they bring a helicopter and they drop down the ladder, and they say, get on, man, you're gonna drown, get up. And then he says, no, God will save me. And then, like, whatever, they left him, and then he drowns. So then this guy's talking with the angels. He drowned, and then he's like saying, why didn't you guys save me? And then the angels say to him, we sent you the cops, we sent you the boat, we sent you the helicopter. Can I get one of those happy button clicks on Facebook? So the point of that is sometimes the signs are absolutely obvious, right? We're just getting left, right, and center, all these signs. And so then you can say, I got a reasonable idea that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from me. Okay, so we're coming to the end. And I actually have a lot of side stories that I could share with you. But maybe we'll save that for another Facebook Live. We do these every day, the Muhammad al-Sharif daily huddles. So you're welcome to meet me up on Facebook. Inshallah ta'ala, maybe I'll continue this topic. This Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, we are doing Visionaire. We've done it online consistently for the last 7 years. This Ramadan is going to be at home for most of us, and the masajid are closed. The good news is that we've actually been doing this Visionaire program at home for the last 7 years. So it's not that this is something new to us. We actually have been doing this for the last 7 years. And unlike other programs where, everybody's doing these webinars like this and Zoom lectures, and there's going to be a lot of that in Ramadan. But one of the most beautiful things for me in Visionaire is community. And so our community has been built over the last 7 years in this Visionaire community. Some people are old, some people are new, some people it's their first time, some people have been doing it with me for the last 7 years consistently. And so this community is a smaller group of people, but everybody's worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, designing their du'as together. And Visionaire, the program, the focus of the program is, I say 2 weeks, but the actual class is only going to be 4 days, and 2 hours of those 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and then you have all the extra time to work on your dua, to design your duas. See, when we make duas out of pain, when we make du'as out of pain, we usually have full sincerity behind them when they're coming out of pain. And I give common examples are like illness, citizenship exams, like that. You have du'as that come out of pain. And then the question that I asked like 15 years ago, I don't want to make dua out of pain. I want to make dua out of thankfulness, but I want it to have the same power and the same emotional intensity out of thankfulness and for my future. So how can you make dua for my future out of pleasure and hope and, you know, positive expectancy in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but with the same intensity as if the world's going to end? How can I do that? That's what Visionaire is seeking to address. And alhamdulillah, it's our flagship program, and inshallah ta'ala, you will have a great experience. That's it. Razi, I'll hand it to you.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Alhamdulillah, you know, we had so many people on the Zoom, on the Facebook Live, and you guys have asked some questions about Visionaire. Also, Sheikh, did you want to take any questions on the topic, or are you open to that? We had a few come in on the Q&A box.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take some questions. No problem.
Let me pick out some. Okay, here's one, Sheikh, that is unique to obviously the reality right now. Someone says, how can I strengthen my beliefs and moral contemplation during this pandemic, and obviously regarding the upcoming Ramadan Kareem?
How can I, what?
How can I strengthen my beliefs and moral contemplation? I'm not sure about that wording, but during this pandemic. And I think the beliefs, like tying it to Tawakkul, given that was a talk. So how can they strengthen it during this Ramadan?
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something that I've been saying in during when all of this happened and whatnot, is that we don't know Allah's intentions, but we do know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us when we are tested. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَوَلَا يَرَوْنَ أَنَّهُمْ يُفْتَنُونَ فِي كُلِّ عَامٍ مَرَّةً أَوْ مَرَّتَيْنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, do they not see that they are tested in every year, marratan aw marratain, once or twice? So there's a big test that comes upon people every year, once or twice. ثُمَّ لَا يَتُوبُونَ وَلَا هُمْ يَذَّكَّرُونَ. And even then, even with those tests, they don't turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in repentance, and they do not remember the hereafter in their place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we understand the response that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us is tawbah, is repentance. So regardless of, what does this mean? What does the pandemic mean or whatever? I'm not going to go down that street, but I will understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always wants us, when we are tested, to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in tawbah. So asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consistently for forgiveness, doing tawbah 100 times a day, making up, repenting, staying away from haram. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, and remembering our position in the hereafter, and always working and striving for the hereafter. And now we have the gift of Ramadan to take all of this response, take all of this response to the next level.
Well, before we get to the next question, I have put the link in the chat, you guys, so that's where you can go register. And alhamdulillah, we do have a 2 installment payment option. Some of you guys have asked about that. And if you've been affected by COVID-19 with layoffs or other challenges that you've had, alhamdulillah, we do have a scholarship option that you can fill out on the checkout page. So do check that out. And it's not a month long, as Sheikh Mohammed said, it's 4 live sessions. So it happens over 2 weekends, and each session is 2 hours each. And alhamdulillah, you can go at it on your pace. So if you can't attend live, no worries. You have lifetime access to the program, and you're going to be able to go through that. There's lots of bonus material. We actually have one special bonus for those who register by April 26th with Sheikh Omar Suleiman, Prayers of the Pious. It's an insights and interview. So it's a really great way to get in that mindset, inshallah, before Ramadan. So next question, Sheikh, which is a really great one. Someone wanted clarification on what you mean by making dua from thankfulness.
Sure. 1 second here. So making dua from thankfulness is during the Visionaire program. I speak about there's a very, anyways, not in the Visionary program, but I came to a very hard time in my life. I won't go into details of this long explanation. I went through a very hard time in my life, and usually I respond to hard times by journaling. So I try to understand what happened to me in that hard time through journaling. And this one time that was so intense, and I thought I was going to die. And then I opened my journal, and then I saw that in my journal, as I turned the back pages, each entry, I hadn't been writing in my journal until last entry was some pain, and the journal entry before that was some pain. And then I looked up, I'm like, this is a whole journal of pain. And then I realized that I don't turn back to Allah, and I don't think, and I don't contemplate. I don't do that unless Allah sends me pain. And so I realized that, you know what? I only turn to Allah when Allah sends me pain. So if that's the case, then the best thing that could happen to me is Allah send me horrible pain for the rest of my life, because then that's the only way I listen. So to the questioner, for you guys listening, have you set up your life like that only when Allah sends you pain, that's when your salah gets better, that's when you start paying more attention to your dua, that's when you start doing tawbah, that's when you go to family members that you haven't spoken to and say, I'm sorry because I'm going through pain. But what about if Allah doesn't send you pain? So if your life is set up like that, then it's one of two things. Either Allah continues to send you pain, and that'll be the best case scenario, because you seem to only worship Allah when there's pain. So the best thing that could happen to you is you get a lifetime imprisonment. May Allah protect you, because that seems to be the only way you respond. Is like, that could be the best thing that happens to you. Or how about this? You worship Allah with the same intensity out of thankfulness. Then Allah doesn't have to send you pain for you to change your behavior, that you will worship Allah out of thankfulness. So you'll read the Quran, you'll do tawbah, and you will make up with your relatives. You want to make up with relatives so intensely, they'll think, are you dying? And you're like, no, I took Visionaire Ramadan, and I'm worshiping Allah out of thankfulness. Allah.
That was so beautiful, Sheikh, mashallah. People just commenting on Facebook as well and here on Zoom. The concept is so deep. It is, and this is just like a small appetizer, if you can even call it that, you guys, of Visionaire. Alhamdulillah, like you're gonna walk away knowing that, there's endless possibilities. Alhamdulillah, when you tap into that relationship with dua, with that tawakkul and reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Visionaire will inshallah allow you to, open that floodgate. Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, this is a really good question, and I think it's something that a lot of people think about. And if you're sitting on the fence about Visionary, you might be having this train of thought as well. Someone says, how can we overcome the fear of blessings being taken away? I don't even make dua for something because I'm afraid it'll be taken away.
I'm afraid to make dua because I'm afraid it'll be taken away?
Yeah. It's almost not giving yourself permission to dream or having the courage.
Okay, I think I've seen that question. Somebody posted somewhere, which is, what if I make dua for a house, really, beautiful dream house, and then I lose that dream house? So I don't want to lose. So let me not make dua in the first place, and let me stay a loser, so that I guarantee loss for myself. Allah. So I think that train of thought, even if you weren't Muslim, a lot of human beings have that, which is they're afraid of making themselves vulnerable. And so they don't aim for higher things in their life, because they say, what if I lose it? And that fear of loss is so intense. So they say, I won't even try in the first place. And my response to that is, if you don't try in the first place, then what you fear has already come to pass, which is you don't have this thing in your life. You haven't made dua. It's only that you've missed out. So by not trying, you guarantee loss. So if you want to give yourself a fighting chance, then start making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and start moving forward. And I will tell you one thing though, and this is like a general principle for people who haven't taken Visionaire, and a reminder for those who've taken Visionaire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to make dua for him. Any train of thought that leads to not making dua is false and from shaitan, and it's misguidance. So let me say that again so you get it. Allah commands us to make dua to him. Any train of thought, any argument, any opinion that leads to not making dua or leads to a weakened dua is false misguidance from shaitan, and it is rejected. And so to the brother or sister who asked the question, if you are thinking not to make dua, then right off the bat, you are wrong. And it's from shaitan and it's misguidance, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Call upon me and I will answer you. Allah.
That was so deep, Sheikh. That's like a preach kind of moment. SubhanAllah. I want to quote that. We're going to have to put that up on Facebook. SubhanAllah, because you can go so deep with that, you guys, tracking your thoughts, right? And the waswas of shaitan. And I love that train of thought, SubhanAllah. So with that, we are going to end it, you guys. But like Sheikh said, the journey doesn't have to stop here. Alhamdulillah, we begin Visionaire on May 2nd. Alhamdulillah, registration closes May 1st. You've got a week, but why delay? Why contemplate when you know that this is what your heart longs for? With Visionaire, what you're going to walk away with is taking your belief in Allah, your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to new heights. Inspire your heart to dream again. Design your upcoming year with carefully crafted dream du'as, and use the last 10 nights of Ramadan to raise your new dream du'as to Allah. One thing that Sheikh always touches on, and I love this, and it's like one of those points that you just have to keep reminding yourself of it, is we approach the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and even after Ramadan, so many of the key moments of dua, and alhamdulillah, we might be sitting there in these beautiful opportunities and we don't even know what to make dua for. And so Visionaire is inshallah putting you in that driver's seat of not being passive, of not just kind of like being idle and thinking of whatever crosses your mind, but really as a believer being proactive inshallah and being intentional about it. And when you're intentional and you're tied to your dua, it sparks so much, right? Hope, certainty, tawakkul, all of those are fruits from it, inshallah. So please join us. I hope to see you. And like Sheikh Mohammed said, the community around Visionaire is incredible. We have half our students are sometimes return students. Like people come back, just for that spark, that community, that support. You get a lot of interaction with Sheikh Mohammed. Alhamdulillah, he does a lot of intimate Facebook lives where you get to, ask questions, and he's mashallah really accessible that way. So I hope to see you guys. Type in the chat if you're going to be joining us, inshallah. If you have any questions, email us support@discoveryourlife.com. I'll put it in the chat as well. And, we look forward to seeing you with us. I pray you have a blessed Ramadan. May Allah protect you and your families, inshallah. And yeah, we'll see you then. Sheikh, I'll let you close off.
Jazakallah khairan, everybody, for tuning in. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.